This is Beyond the Veil with Norman Meredith.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Veil with me, Norman, your main host, and my co-host, Ed Lease, lurking in the background.
In the background.
How you doing today, Ed?
I'm doing all right, man. Yourself?
Did you have a good 2 weeks off?
Yeah, sure.
Did you do anything I wouldn't do?
I didn't see any sea monsters where I was at, but, you know.
I know.
Maybe they were hiding.
Maybe they were hiding. Okay. We're going to talk about a subject that Ed brought up to me. And Ed, you want to tell him what that topic is?
So I saw this thing. I was just, I subscribe on social media to all sorts of weird pages, and some like street fight pages and just, karma or whatever. And I came across an oddity and it's been proven true. Low voltage.
Right.
But it's the Baghdad battery.
Right.
And I was like, hey, what is that? Looks like a clay pot.
Right.
And then I went into it and it's like, this is how they made batteries and the science behind it and the whole bit.
Do you know it's been debunked?
Has it?
Yes.
I thought it was like 0.3 volts.
It is 0.3 volts, but it has been debunked. And do you know why?
I don't know why.
Because there's not a second post on it. So it's unable to complete a circuit.
They should have figured that out.
But that doesn't mean it's not a battery, though. It can still be a battery if it's producing energy.
Maybe there's like this conspiracy theory where had they figured out this Baghdad battery and did it, that they would have never gone drilling for oil there and all the world wars would have never happened. I don't know,
Never know.
Butterfly effect, but I digress.
I'll show you possible use of the Baghdad battery as we talk. Now, the Baghdad battery is found, in the early 1900s, I believe, wasn't it? British scientists, I believe, found it.
Like archaeologists.
Yeah, the archaeologists, they're out there drinking their tea and had the Bedouins out there doing all the digging, that colonial type stuff. Or it might have been Germans, for all I know. And they found these pots. And when they opened them up, it was 3 layers. It was the clay pot, an iron center, and then that protruded out a little bit, and it was covered with asphalt, of all things. And in some cases, they still had an acidic center in it.
Yeah, and there's the copper rod. So you have a cathode and anode.
Yeah. And this made the archaeologists go, what in the heck had we found? Because they had no idea what it was. And then it was in later years that somebody took a voltmeter to it and said, hey, this thing produces electricity. It was like 1.5 amps, but it's at the very lowest. I think it's even lower than an amp, I think.
Could be.
I think like a milliamp or something like that. But it was a really small voltage. And the original theory behind the battery was electroplating for jewelry. They thought they were using it to electroplate silver onto jewelry. But the debunking is because of the fact there's not a second prong on there, and the fact there's no evidence of jewelry being electroplated, but they believe that most of the jewelry of that era was fire plated.
Okay.
Instead of electroplated. So the theory of it being used for electroplating just went straight out the door.
So what do you think they use it for? Because there's all sorts of other weird single post pictures and cuneiform hieroglyphics or whatever, found in different places that sort of resemble this kind of electric making vessel.
Now, we've looked into Egyptian tombs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you see there? What does that look like to you right off the bat?
No comment.
Well, besides that, the porn reference.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it's like, do we have lightning in a bottle?
We do.
Is it something sent from their, Ra or, their sun gods or whatever?
It's a light bulb.
Hot dang, it is a light bulb, man. This next picture is coming up too. It's like,
Yeah, it's a light bulb. And look what's in front of it.
Baghdad batteries.
Baghdad batteries.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
The technology of the Babylonians is, and Egyptians
And Egypt.
are like, because they're up here and they're down there, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, for the longest time, they always thought, because in all the tombs, there's no sign of scorch marks,
Okay.
which means there was
No torches.
no torches.
So how did they?
So they either figured they use mirrors to direct the sunlight in,
Yeah, but how did they do that? The
you know,
mirrors.
a series of mirrors to direct sunlight, or they had something like this, using the Baghdad battery and somehow created light bulbs with a filament,
Okay.
which would explain a lot. But who taught them?
Aliens.
That's a possibility. Some people say, well, let's go into three groups, okay? Atlantis,
All right.
remnants of the city of Atlantis, the survivors. They may do with what remaining technology they had or could make based on what equipment they had left to create minor tools. So, they use the things to create batteries, limited light bulbs, things of that nature, certain types of medical tools, because believe it or not, they were performing brain surgery in different parts of the world, including Egypt, and advanced dentistry with some crude tools that almost look like stuff that we use today. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. They had these tools specifically made to open up the scalp,
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And then-
like where they pull the brain out of the nose.
No.
and all that?
I'm actually talking
like a
actual
hook.
brain surgery.
Okay. All right.
Like a
so
scalpel
so they
type
stay
nut.
alive.
Yeah, like actual type blade that looked like a scalpel, but it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And special type of hammers and stuff to crack the skull open in a way that they could go through the skull to do surgery on the brain, and then, assumingly they sewed it back up or something. I mean, I've seen some of these tools in the past, but I couldn't find them in the search I was looking for.
Okay.
But yeah, there was medical tools that predate even our civilization that were supposedly used back during this time. It's just amazing what was seen.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and we think, hey, they were cavemen. They're way more primitive, than we are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because they're a little more advanced than we are.
Yeah.
Aren't we supposed to be smarter than them or the smarter we get, the dumber we get?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the three theories is, one is Atlantis, remnants of an advanced city. Two would be aliens, like you say, whether extraterrestrial or interdimensional.
Right.
And the third part would be, get this folks, be time travelers.
Okay.
Maybe they were escaping from a bad future and came to the past and brought limited equipment with them in order to try to survive. Because I'll show you some pictures here in a little bit from Egypt. Now everybody's got different theories about how the pyramids were built. One of them is giants.
Looks like giants to me.
Mm-hmm. This is a representation of pictures that were taken in Egypt, or drawings of giants. Top left corner, you got a giant holding lions by the tail. The second one, a giant talking to two people. Bottom left corner, giants moving stones. And another giant in the bottom right corner, apparently teaching or talking to folks.
Right.
There have been reported giant remains found in Egypt, but as you know, they always seem to disappear.
Could they debunk that? Could they say the top left-hand corner is a guy just holding cats, the top right-hand corner he's talking to his kids, bottom left-hand corner they're just carrying baskets of wheat or something?
Well, sometimes it's the scale of people they put next to them
Yeah.
that just threw off people. And I'm going to show you a couple artist renditions of giants supposedly carrying stones.
That's some big dudes, man. Is that the Nephilim?
Yeah. They supposedly built these the pyramids, helped put up the statues. You know, they were part of the supposed culture of Egypt.
I mean, how do they feed them?
Like anybody else, except they got a cow instead of a steak.
For like one meal.
Yeah.
You know? He said, I was like, can you imagine the turd that would come out of that guy? It'd be the size of a human.
Shoot, a cow patty.
Yeah.
Here, like an example, is an example of them carrying rocks on their head. I mean, look at how buff they made these guys.
They would have to be. I mean, you know, even to scale, a rock that size for us would be 500 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's super ripped right there.
Oh, yeah. And let's see, what do I got next after this one?
Let me see what we got. Oops.
Oh, another giant.
My bad.
You're fine.
Solo.
You know, look at, I mean, this guy is almost as tall as one of the Peruvian or Aztec pyramids. This guy's honking huge. And look at that brick. I mean, it's almost like a cinder block in his hand.
Yeah, cinder block. That's a good representation to scale, yeah.
You know, and he's sitting here just chugging along, building this, you know, yes, they're using what we would call pulleys and levers and ladders, you know, for the smaller stuff, but he's here honking away with the cinder blocks while everybody else is working with the smaller stuff.
Screw, lever, and pulley.
Mm-hmm.
Physics. What about this? How did they make them guide blocks with crystal rods?
Well, supposedly that's a form of magnetic energy, because everything has energy.
Oh, like a monorail system.
And then you're using energy, this magnetic energy, to move stuff. That is a theory that was also thought that may have occurred, was they tapped into using crystals, because people say crystals have healing powers, help you tap your third eye, communicate with the dead, communicate with ET or spirits.
That's weird, man.
Crystals are supposed to do a lot of things. And using crystals is supposed to help, in this case, was moving giant blocks. And they're also supposed to provide energy. Atlantis was supposed to be run on a crystalline energy matrix.
So this is like, to some people, this would be the ancient equivalent of essential oils.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like, oh, I'm going to put some peppermint on my temple, you know, and make my headache go away. But
Yeah.
some people, I don't know, it's the smell and it soothes, or lavender,
Yeah.
you know, might work for some, but not others. Obviously.
Exactly. Some others believe sound was used to move objects. It's been proven that sound can move objects.
Sound can break objects, too.
It can break objects too. I mean, Jericho, when the trumpets of Jericho, you know, they did
7 days and marched around and fell down.
Yep. Sound is, we use it too in LRAD systems. The military does, and some boats to deter pirates, you know, using advanced sounds. But it also can move things. I mean, you ever watch the bass? Someone turn up the bass when you see a glass start to shake?
Yeah, or
The water in it?
I mean, it, like, even with a camera, when there's a camera at a base competition, like it's just like, it almost looks like the glass is moving. You know, and not to mention, kind of maybe set Hawaii on fire with, you know,
That was lasers.
it's energy, man.
That's a different form of
You know,
energy.
it could, but there, you know, there's all sorts of stuff, you know, sounds that can like break your soul too, man. Like interrogations where they're just like blasting crazy music and stuff.
Ex-wives and girlfriends.
You know, well, hey,
Or wives. All right, let's bring up a couple others. There's another theory, too, that UFOs were using the equivalent of tractor beams.
like docking stations drawing energy from the
Pyramids were supposedly...
inner guts of the planet. Like,
pyramids were considered giant batteries or energy producers that created energy. And some of them were considered a possibility that they were, like you say, a recharging station or a landing station for UFOs because they created energy. I mean, there is a theory that one of the pyramids had sulfuric acid in it and was an actual giant battery at one time.
I find it weird, you know.
I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff out there, and a lot of things sometimes get deliberately blocked because it's like a secret society says you're not ready for the truth. Or
Well,
you can't handle the truth.
It even comes down to stuff like this: your regular dollar bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you take that dollar bill.
Illuminati. Yeah, I know. I see that.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
I know. I know. I know. I know.
I thought I had a 1 in there. I'm broke, so yeah.
I'll give you a 20 later for your time.
Better.
Just no tongue this time. Okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
All right. What else we got next on here?
Let me see. This one.
All right. This is one of the Hindu pyramids. Okay. And some people think some of the Hindu pyramids were actually spaceships that had rocks built over them, and then the metal just corroded away. That was a theory.
So you're saying metal inside of rock
Mm-hmm.
that had energy in it?
They were
Is
actually
it kind of like
spaceships at one
that?
time,
Is it kind of like that?
or something. It was a theory that
It's weird.
you know.
I don't know.
In order to preserve them, they built stone temples on top of these spaceships,
So you would have to have pilots, right?
or had them.
So Stone Temple pilots?
Yeah.
Got you. That explains a lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but that was there has been a theory passed around that some of these temples are giant tombstones for spaceships.
Yeah. And you know what's weird too is that, like we were talking about the other week, is hasn't been like a mummy found in a pyramid.
No, not in a long while.
You know?
It's weird.
Like, was it made for something else?
Well, there's also the Stargate theory. You know, besides the actual.
Please elaborate on that for those of us who are stupid like me.
All right, some of these temples and ruins could also be sources of power, because a lot of times they're found on major ley line points,
Okay.
because that's where natural Earth energy points meet. And because of the natural energy meeting at these points or large centers, think of a traffic circle, okay, where all the traffic meets.
Mm-hmm.
This is ley lines is the same thing. So at this nexus, you have a nexus point or ley line point where all this energy is building and grows like a giant battery or something. It would be a place to build a portal point, like a temple, or like Stargate, the giant circle, where it would open up into an alternative dimension, or what's that space tunnel that people walk through sometimes? That suppose you can walk through or travel through,
Like wormholes?
Yes, it could create a wormhole to another location, you know, whether here on Earth or into another planet or another system, you know, for travel like that, extraterrestrial, interplanetary travel type transport, besides interdimensional travel, and in some cases even time travel. You know, these nexus points are supposed to be able to do any of those things possible because of the energy, but you got to have the right key. And some people think the key sometimes is sonics or energy. You know, it's just depending on how you do it. Or you've heard of hertz, right? Where
Frequencies?
yes, frequencies.
Okay.
Where let me stop and think. What's his name? Help me out here. The inventor from Slovakia.
Tesla?
He was big on hertzes and explaining how they opened up different things for the mind, for wireless communication, energy transfer. Okay, he was onto it. He knew a lot more than people realize, that we could probably open up a door to another universe using hertz, frequencies, sound. It just all depends on how it's being produced.
So check out this next one. What is that?
That was
Where was it found?
this
What
was
is
found in the Mediterranean Sea back in the 70s, I believe, late 60s, 70s.
What's the diameter on that?
And it was huge. It was a navigation device.
Okay.
It had gears and wheels in it, and it was around the time of ancient Greece.
Like constellations?
Yeah, it was used for excuse me, sea travel, and it was the only one of its kind, and it was beyond its time.
Like the technology did not exist back then.
Exactly.
As far as we
far as we know,
contemporary times,
nobody had one of these.
Okay.
It was a series of gears and everything else, from what they can understand, placed in a box, used for what's the word they call it for navigating at night on the thing? Stellar navigation.
I mean, that makes sense.
For navigating
by the stars
and then
constellations.
during the day, navigating with the sun, positioning. That's what this was. It was an advanced computer, basically, using a mechanical device to travel, and it was only one of its kind. And nobody knows where it came from.
It's like a modern or like an ancient sextant.
Yes.
Like the Navy uses now.
I think it may have been Phoenician, not Greek.
Okay.
But it was found in a shipwreck.
Okay.
And it's the only one of its kind ever found.
What is this?
This is from Egypt.
That's interesting. What are those things? Is that a spaceship, a helicopter, and a yacht?
Let's see. You got a yacht,
Kinda crazy.
a helicopter, a possible plane,
Mm-hmm.
and then different other objects I can't really say. Maybe bottom right could be a vehicle or a boat or a tank.
Santa's sleigh.
Yeah. These were found on a wall in one of the tombs. Now, how do they know about that?
I don't know. Remember, we did an episode before, and there was like this little thing, and it looked like a guy sitting in like a spacecraft with like air.
we talked about that.
Tubes.
Yeah. Like they were
What's up with that?
talking about
That's just
somebody
weird.
from space that was riding a space sled.
It's weird.
But that was one of the examples of possibility of being Atlantean, time travelers, interdimensional travelers.
All right. So even more technology. You look around Egypt and such, and then you see obelisks.
Now, we were talking about, the means of putting up things. You and I were talking about how they got obelisks up. This is an example of how they supposedly raised an obelisk. Was they built a ramp and slid that sucker in.
But yeah, it's not even the ramp though, too.
Well,
And it's not even the obelisk itself. It's like, have you seen where they quarried these things from? How in the world did they get them from that quarry back up to...
Probably Egypt had trees at one time until they used them all. And they just never
It's possible.
replanted.
It's possible.
Like, think about Easter Island with all the
Yeah.
statues there.
And then the erosion happened and everything started coming down on it. And
All right, we got one more and then
got two more.
Excuse me. This was built in Greece. It was a toy. It's just a simple toy, but look at how it was like a steam engine.
yeah, essentially.
Somebody built this as a toy, but the possibilities if somebody had put it forward could have pushed Greece so far into the future while building a powered wagon,
I mean, you'd have an endless
or even
supply.
help with boats.
Yeah, with boats. That's what I'm going to say. Because Greece is an island. They've got,
If they
boats
figured
are
out how to
full
build a
sail.
propeller and all that, they could have had steam-powered boats,
Yeah.
steam-powered carts.
You just have to have enough fuel, and wood would go fast, so it would be coal. They got to find coal,
I'm sure they would have figured it out. The Greeks were very smart people. But this is just an example of technology ahead of its time.
Yeah. Way ahead of its time. 100%. You want to check out this last one?
Yep, let's put out this last one.
Tell me exactly what you think this is.
Now, supposedly, this was found in an underground mine.
Where?
I don't remember exactly where.
Is that the Beastie Boys?
I don't know what tape it was, but it was
Journey.
supposedly found
Boston.
as it's a fossil. Supposedly.
Yeah.
It could also be a very good hoax.
Well, it's also like the ones where they found that axe head.
You've seen that one.
In the coal.
Yeah.
And coal's supposed to be millions and millions and millions of years old.
Exactly.
But
And
that
it's
technology.
thousands of feet underground.
Yep.
That was what I was going to bring up.
Bronze Age, minimum.
And they
It can't
found
be millions of years old.
bolts and screws like that too underground.
spark plug underground. They
Yeah, I
found
remember
a
that
spark
one.
plug.
I remember
they
that one too.
found like small ramekins that they would probably use. The metal ones, they're kind of lipped. That made out of metal, which that
just-
technology at that time, as we know it,
It's
was
just
a certain
amazing what
a
they were
certain
finding
period.
thousands of feet underground, buried in rock.
A tree stump.
Yeah,
There's a tree
I
stump
recall
in a
that.
coal mine.
I recall that.
It's like,
I had to stop thinking. Another thing to think about. We don't know anything about the Bermuda Triangle, and some say it's a portal to hell, could be to another world, another dimension. What if it went to another time and the pilots and ships took their knowledge to try to survive in the best way they could, using what they had on hand from their ships or planes or something?
maybe it's the benevolent time traveling aliens that just want to see us do better, so they themselves instantly are better.
Could be possible. Anything's possible. But this is just something to think about, folks. And if you got some stories or you know something similar and you want to share, reach out to Ed and I here at Beyond the Veil. We'd love to hear your comments and your feeds. Share us some pictures if you got something that we might be interested in. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks for listening to this episode of Beyond the Veil with Ed and I here in Liberty, in Pickens,
One
South
of them.
Carolina.
We're all over the place.
Yeah.
Time traveling quickly.
Yes, bouncing around. And look forward to our next episode. Next week I'm on the Boo Boo bus, so it'll be another week after that when you'll get to see me again. And we'll see what we got popped up for y'all, okay?
Good deal.
Good night, all.